He thinks he's the big one. I'll just go out.
Get out of it. All right, we're here with Ange McWatters, who is one of our pro athletes training under Amber for the last just over 3 years now. Hey, Ange, is that about right?
Yes.
3 years, cool. So what we're going to do is just cover off that experience, how you've gone, how your journey went to get to your pro card, the trials and tribulations that you kind of went through, things that you sort of also would think would benefit other people going on this journey as well, and just your working with Amber and how you found the coaching. And I know she's a bit of an asshole sometimes, but yeah, how all that's been.
It's got to be.
Yeah. Cool. And Amber's obviously going to ask you lots of questions as well.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
So I think the first thing we'll do is start from the start and go, why did you want to get into bodybuilding in the very first place?
So I've always been interested. I started training at the gym when I was 15 years old and in Waiuku, and I actually used to wag school to go to the gym because it was only a couple of 100 meters down the road. And I used to read a lot of magazines and follow some of the women that are still around, Jo Stewart, Ira Johnson, Karen McCall, and I looked at those women. I really wanted to look like them. I thought they were amazing.
That's cool. So it was right from an early age then?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So then, because you didn't get into, when was your first year competing?
Last year was my...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You thought you wanted to do this, and what made you reach out to Amber?
Scrolling through hospital, having just had foot surgery, and found Amber. I think she'd just competed at the Pans that year, and I had never seen a woman look so shredded and awesome on a New Zealand stage. I thought, if she can do that, I'm sure she can help me do something along those lines, it'd be presentable on stage.
Yeah, I can remember our very first conversation. You were one of my very first online clients, and we had the phone call, and I remember thinking just how driven that you were, and you were, I really want to achieve this. I'll do what it takes. I'll eat the food, blah blah blah. I'm going to be good at following the plan, etc. And right from the get-go, you were just like in the zone. It was awesome. It really got me excited anyway. Yeah. And just like every week from then, it was like you're always sending your check-ins, sending your photos, ticking
the boxes.
Ticking the boxes, just doing what it takes. Sure, there was like hurdles along the way. The first few months recovering from the foot surgery. And
didn't Roy also have an accident over this time as well?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, 23, 22, it was July 2022, he came off his motorcycle and he ended up with 3 broken limbs and in hospital for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And through that time, I was working full and going into the hospital every day to help care for him. Because bless him, he wouldn't let any of the nurses touch him. And I was really determined to carry on working towards my goal. And so I managed my time. I just learned how to manage my time better by getting the meal prep in, getting my trainings done, and just doing it on the daily. And in hindsight, I look at it as a really positive experience for me, and nothing will ever be as challenging as that period of time. So essentially, I made that decision just to get it done.
There was a lot going on, but like you said, your time management had to be pretty bang on with the meal prep, with your training, with your cardio and everything, work, looking after Roy. But it's about priorities as well, isn't it? So, if you want to make something happen, you can generally find a way. You just have to sacrifice other things.
Exactly. You have to really want.
Yeah, that's it. So then you started that journey, and your first show was Rosetown last year, right? So
yeah.
talk to us about your experience getting to that point in time, like starting your official peak.
So
I should say.
And it's exactly just ticking the boxes, look every day as an opportunity to get closer towards the goal. And when you tempted to stay in bed or go off track or not tick those boxes, you've just got to keep thinking about what's ahead. And while you're eating the chocolate or staying in bed and missing the cardio, your opponents are not. That they're done. And then as time got closer, there were other things to think about, like getting my routine sorted and my posing sorted. And like, I'm not a natural. I'm not the most graceful person, but it was really important that I presented as well as I could on stage and do the that I could. And I think I did that. I felt really confident on stage, and having had done that preparation and practice made it a lot easier for me on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Preparation is key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to be no good at posing, no good on stage, blah, blah, blah. But it's just practice. It's just, I mean, I was no good the first time that I hopped up. Okay, it's kind of okay, but was not polished at all my very first time. But it's just like if you're going to do something and practice it every single day, then of course you're going to get better.
But you also did a lot of practice leading up to our first show as well, eh? So we're both practicing, at least we're doing posing sessions once a week, wasn't it?
Yes, but I think if you've got the wrong posing coach, then that also counts for something as well. Yeah.
But it was better than not doing anything, right?
Yeah. What I definitely want to just highlight the discipline and the dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people say that they want to look like Ange, and people say they want to get, the big muscles, and they want to get lean, and they want to get shredded. But then they'll be like, oh, I'm not going to eat that, or that looks a bit plain.
So I think that's a good point, is why don't we go over like some of the discipline around the prep, some of the feelings you have with prepping and being hungry, being tired, having cravings, and how you sort of manage those cravings as well.
What bodybuilding has done for me is create structure. So while perhaps prior to bodybuilding, I would have gone to work and not had prepped my lunch, and I'd just go grab something from the cafe or, eat it on the run. Now I have my meals prepped. I know, and if it's not on plan, it's not. I'm not allowed it. So I just don't eat it. And I think from a mental health perspective, we thrive with structure and routine. So every day I know I want to do my cardio before breakfast, because I know that's going to get me closer to the goal. I want to eat my meals in a timely fashion, because I know that is going to get me closer to the goal. I want to get my track, because if I'm not, that is one day that I'm losing towards whatever show's coming up. So, and I always feel accomplished when I've done all those things.
Yeah.
It's the plan.
Yeah. Even when you're tired, right? So you'd be struggling, get up, you don't want to get up in the morning, but you're still ticking those boxes.
Absolutely. Because if I don't get the things done, I am going to feel worse off at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's slow.
Yeah. Did you have times where you did trip up, you went off plan, anything like that?
100%. I work in an office of foodies, or people that like junk food, and when you're those chips or chocolate looks really and I have gone off plan 100%. But I guess the most important thing in those is to acknowledge it, let Amber know, and so we can manage it moving forward. And it might be a problem-solving issue where we need to make sure I'm well-fed going to the shift, or have a plan to manage those times. But I would say the most important thing is to keep the number open and honest and keep the communication going.
Because Amber, when Angela would tell you that she slipped up, are you going to be saying to her, "Oh, you an idiot, why did you do that?" Or will you be like, "Okay, that's happened, let's move forward, how can we fix this?" Probably a bit of both.
Well, what I might be thinking, what I might say are two different things.
Yeah.
Nah, just kidding. Yeah, but mainly it's just about trying to find out what steps has led to this happening. How can we avoid it in the future? I mean, often it'll be something like, oh, you know, tired, short on sleep, maybe got meals in late, maybe it was like a double shift or something like that. So it's usually something we can avoid in the future. So it's just trying to figure it out. Sometimes it's maybe a little bit more self-talk, and yeah. But you're on point now, so full steam ahead.
100%.
Yeah. I think it's also about being and this is something I've done with Kate, just about the mental health and our mindset around everything that we do. Is like, we need to be a parent to ourselves as well, and saying no to our temptations and wants as we would to our children. So it's very easy to say no to our children. You can't have ice cream for breakfast, but we are starving, hungry, tired, and feeling a bit down, and that little bit of chocolate at the work is around, so you're like, oh, one or two pieces won't hurt. And it's like, next thing you know, you're having the chocolate, the cookies, the extras all day, next couple of days on top of it.
And it's about, you know, the decision, that delayed gratification. What will I feel better with later?
Yeah, absolutely. Delayed gratification is the key. So you did your first show. What was your experience like at Rosetown? Because that's a fucking fantastic show in its own right, but how did you find it?
I absolutely loved it. Absolute hats off, Mike, for the show that he puts on. His passion for competition and the stage is infectious. I went into that show just wanting to look competitive next to the other ladies, and it was all that preparation I'd put into it. I walked up there and I felt confident. I loved the stage, enjoyed the entire process. I've loved the tips that I've made as a result. I'm really close with a couple of the other competitors. Yeah, it was an absolute blast.
Wicked. That's cool. And then after that, you went to Nationals, is that right?
Yeah, right. And I mean, that was another amazing show. Obviously bigger on scale, more competitors. It was an amazing experience. I just loved it.
So after Rosetown, then it was Pans, then Nationals, but you had to come out of Rosetown. So walk me through how that went for you. Like, did you reverse diet, or how did that go?
Well, I'd like to say I reversed beautifully and followed the plan as prescribed. I absolutely did not.
Yeah.
I went out for dinner. I had my Thai, which is my stock standard. And then I became the cookie monster. I had ice cream, cookies. I turned into an absolute cookie monster, and ended up feeling like a big sack of shit.
Yeah.
I don't recommend. I think I put on something like 10 kilos that, and it was mostly fluid, but I ended up really puffy and feeling quite unwell. So, yeah, learned. Try not to do that one again. But you know, it's still learning. Yeah. So
it was the sugar, really. The sugar. Like, if you had avoided the sugary stuff, you probably would have been. Maybe you still would have had a few off meals, but the damage wouldn't have been as severe.
Yeah, I think less sugar, less dairy, we would have been in a much better place. We'll be the golfer next time for sure.
Yeah, Absolutely. I think, it doesn't make you feel better, okay? And nothing is ever what you think it's going to be. So, it was an absolute train crash, and I wouldn't want to do.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, that what you just said is that nothing's ever good enough. And for me, like, I've done a similar thing to you, Angela. I know Andrew has as well, is that we've come out of a show and you want your treats that you've been looking forward to. So you have them and then they're not really that great. So you're like, well, fuck, I want something else. And then something to give me that satisfaction, but nothing ever gives you that satisfaction. So you keep looking, and then next thing you know, 10 kilos later, you're feeling like absolute crap, puffy, swollen, feel hungover.
And you're addicted to sugar.
Yeah. It's just a massive snowball, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, then what made you, how did you correct that?
So, the end of that week, I thought, crap, this has obviously not worked for me. I feel horrible. I look horrible. My ankles were really puffy. So, I made the decision to get back on track and just start ticking those boxes again. And a lot of water. Water helped. I drank a shed load and reassessed, got to head back in as far as looking towards Cairns, which was always going to be the biggest show. And at that stage, I was also looking towards nationals as well. And I had been sponsored to get down nationals. So it was really important for me that I look my best and do my best to represent my sponsor well.
Yeah. Who was your sponsor?
First Place Fitness.
Cool. That's good of them. Yeah. Awesome. That's in Hamilton, eh?
Yeah. Puraka Straight.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So then you got into your prep for PANS. How did that go? Was it any different to the Rosetown prep?
I carried on ticking the boxes. What I will say is the week before PANS, my sister-in-law had a massive stroke and she was unwell, and she ended up passing away the day before PANS. And so it was really a really challenging time making the decision whether to carry on. But I kind of thought to myself, what would she want? What would she do? And she was a pretty tough lady, and I had her in my head just saying, oh, just get it, get it done. So I made the decision to carry on and do my best. Obviously, that worked out well. Yeah. Also trying to manage supporting my husband with the loss of his sister and the rest of the family. Yeah.
It's a pretty challenging time. I don't think any prep for any person has ever been smooth sailing, right? I think 2 years ago during prep, when Amber and I were prepping for our shows, I lost 3 family members in that year, and Amber lost her auntie as well. So 4 bloody funerals that we got all during our prep, and it was just getting to the point where the kids were going, oh, we've been to more funerals than we have parties now. It was ridiculous that year. Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy,
yeah, pretty challenging. But again, like you said, it was like, well, knowing our family and what they would want, would they want me to give up and close in and fall to pieces? Or would they want me to be strong for them and carry on living my best life? Because if I pass, I don't want other people to grieve and feel sad for the rest of their lives. I want them to make the best of life.
If you died tomorrow, I'd still be doing nationals. I'd be getting the world records for you.
Yeah,
in
there you
your
go.
honour.
Live vicariously.
Yeah.
So I think I agree with that mindset, but it's hard to do when you're in that moment sometimes as well.
Yeah. But I mean, I looked on all the work that I put into it for that entire year, and I just thought, I know that my family and my sister-in-law in particular would not want that to all go to waste.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so then you got your prep, you got to PANS. Tell me about PANS. What happened?
Oh, goodness gracious, the pro card.
The pro card.
What an absolute, oh, it was epic. And, you know, for someone like me, you know, I am not a natural bodybuilder. Well, you know, I'm not naturally lean. I've been overweight in my life, and I worked really hard towards that goal. To be really as being worthy of it was epic.
Yeah.
It was absolutely awesome. And, you know, it's obviously been a dream to bodybuild throughout my life since high school. So what better way than to get a pro card?
Yeah.
Get that recognition.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And to get it all in your first year at your second show. If we had entered a pro show for your first show, you would have got it then. Like, that was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's also important with this side of things, because as Amber said before, like, people look at like yourself, Amber, and say, I want to look like that. But they're not looking at the groundwork that you did to get there. Because as like Amber said, it's your first year competing, but it wasn't your first year training. And you've been training for a long time. You've been in competitive sports a long time as well, right?
Yeah, so in lifetime, I have, I've been a swimmer, I've done kickboxing in the ring, boxing, roller derby, and as well as I've always trained in the gym. I've done CrossFit as well as training for bodybuilding. So never have I not trained, just been having a goal and eating for the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the difference between just training for you and being strong and fit to actually going, oh, right, I'm getting stage and now I have to live a certain different lifestyle, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And obviously skills that I've acquired through fighting certainly helped, because when I did fight, when I was fighting, I certainly was a lot more structured in my training, and I had that drive with my cardio more so, and diet. But yeah, skills acquired, they helped with the bodybuilding.
Yeah. Do you think if you can compare fighting, roller derby, all your other things that you've done, would bodybuilding be the hardest sport, if you call it a sport?
I think so. I would say it's the most taxing.
Yeah.
It's sort of, I would say it's fighting and bodybuilding are really similar as far as that intensity. But because with fighting, I don't know whether looking good on stage is more important to me than getting a punch in the face. I don't know. Bodybuilding was more important to me.
Yeah. I think that also you get a bit of a break sometimes with different sports like fighting. You'd have a time where it's not as consuming, and and bodybuilding you get that as well, but you still need to be very structured and disciplined even when you're not in prep and you have your off season. It's still the same, but it's just more food, right? Yeah, it's the same food, just more of it. Yeah, exactly. At the start I think you lost was quite a significant amount of weight, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I think when I started with Amber, I was over 80 kilos, but in my lifetime, I've been up to 120.
Yeah.
So I think when I mentioned that I wanted to start towards bodybuilding, I was probably 2019, and I was probably around 110. I was pretty big.
So you did your PANS, got your pro card. Next show was Nationals, and that you did as like a guest pose, correct?
Yeah. So when I got the pro card, it just meant that I couldn't compete at Nationals, but I still really wanted to go down to Christchurch and represent my sponsor, First Place Fitness. So I decided I would go down for a guest post, and I really enjoyed it, but I missed the competitive side of it. I realized that I'm a competitive person, and I enjoy that side of it. So yeah,
that's cool.
Hopefully other people on stage next to me.
So then that was last year. Talk to me about how you came out of that show and then over the Christmas period as well, because it can also be a bit of a struggle for a lot of people.
Yeah, so I think I did then I did it at Rosetown.
Yeah.
And, I also had the goal, so I had surgery in November, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to train for 3 months afterwards. And so I really didn't want to lose my shit, so to speak, and regain a whole lot of weight. So I sort of tried to keep my fit and training and everything up right up until surgery. And then I had my surgery and I gave myself a few weeks off before getting back into cardio, just slow and steady. But I was really strict weights because I didn't want to do any damage and put myself back, because I was always wanting to get back into training for PAMS. Yeah.
Cool.
Being the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it. And you didn't, you took 3 months off really intense training, but that didn't negatively impact your ability to maintain muscle or gain size, did it?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, the goal was always to maintain that muscle mass, so keep up with my meals and eat enough protein. And I think even taking that 3 months off and then I got back into training in February, I've still been able to make some decent gains as far as size and shape.
Yeah, definitely. Getting some awesome lats on you, hey? Yeah. Yeah, you ready for a new posterior chain?
Yeah, building a bigger butt and a bigger back.
Yeah.
So that was the big focus, was it, with you guys, the posterior side of things? Yeah,
that's been the main focus. I mean, obviously, you always want to be building bigger shoulder caps and all the rest of it. But in order to get the best symmetry and X-frame, then, back and booty. Back and booty's been where it's at. A little bit more shoulder caps and we're away laughing, and then just keep on supersizing. Yeah.
Cool.
Bodybuilding, you're forever small.
Absolutely, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, always going to be too small. So I guess that from here, it's what's next for you, Ange? What's next on the cards?
So I'm looking forward to doing PANS and doing my best there. And, I always say, next year will be a growth year, but I've already picked my bikini colours for next. So we'll see.
Do you think there might be an international show?
Yeah, I would like to compete in Australia.
Cool.
I really wanted to compete in Perth, but I have been told that all the pro shows are in Melbourne, so that's cool. Melbourne will be the destination, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, just wait till the calendar comes out and make some decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there was another show like the World's in New Zealand, 100% I'd be there with bells on.
Yeah, wicked. Oh, we'll have to make our first international appearance at your show as well. No, it's not our first one, is it? But we have to make our international support appearance.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
So one last thing, I guess, if you could choose 3 things that make or break, or you think are significantly important to your journey or your prep, or just like what we're doing and our lives being healthier and stronger and fitter, what would these what would be your top 3 things?
Be coachable. Do your absolute best to do the things that your coach prescribes to the best of your ability. Be open and honest with any troubles you're having, and just allow yourself to be part of that process. Secondly, do your best every day, tick the boxes, and as one of the ladies in our team says, win the day, get it done. And thirdly, don't allow self-doubt and comparison to others hold you back, because everyone brings their own strength to the stage. And, you know, for myself, I've been overweight in the past, so I have skin blemishes, I have a little bit of loose skin, I'm heavily tattooed, but that's not to say that you can't do well and bring the best version of yourself to the stage.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. And what's it been like working with Amber? Like, how have you found her? She's...
What are you laughing?
It's hard to say it seriously.
I love working with Amber, and I love Amber's approach. I love her honesty. I love her support. And what I will say is, when I see people jumping from coach to coach, I think they're the ones that are missing out, because one thing is, Amber knows me. She knows my body. She knows how I respond. And I guess it's going back to that being coachable, getting back into training after my surgery this year. I was ticking boxes and doing all the things in the gym, and I wasn't seeing a lot of change for the first 2-3 months. But I trusted in Amber, trusted in the process, and it all happened at once. And that, you know, the week before an amazing check-in, I had said to Amber, I think I need twice daily cardio. I think I need to cut all my carbs. I think this is what we need to do. And Amber said, no, hold up, just carry on with the plan. And that very next check-in was stellar.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Yeah, following that plan, there is a method to the madness sometimes. And I say, like, some people give up the one step before they get to their goal, or the one step before they make that realization that they're on the right course. And you could have been, you know, one step away. Like, when I used to do sales, we used to knock on doors, right? And we used to say the next door could be the one that changes your day. And you don't know it until you do it, until you knock on that door. And it's the same thing in life. We don't know how good it's going to be until you do the freaking work to get to that result. And it could just change overnight.
Coaching you is a real honour, and yeah, can't wait to see what we're going to bring at Hands coming up soon, eh?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The next level up.